Last time we spoke about logging in and deleting users, creating users, managing user accounts within the database. Now today, now again, we're going to be talking about or demonstrating tests and data tests, data type tests, and the limitations that are supposed to be there within the database to allow errors to be corrected. So here we have the limitations here on the side. So the data has been limited to specifically be numbers, and it also has been limited to a specific amount of digits. So for instance, the customer reference number must be numbers. So the characters in here must be numbers. Like here, it must be numbers, and it's limited to 6 digits. So no more than 6 digits can be entered within that field. And also for the first name, this character, this value or data value type, this data type is variable character, so it means that numbers and letters, it's an alphanumerical value, so it accepts numbers and letters, and that value can only be 30. So less than 30 is allowed, but it cannot exceed 30 digits. And the longest one we have is the address, which is sometimes longer than 35 digits. We get these long addresses, and these are these are developed to have these are developed with real world scenarios in mind. So basically, can enter a name that has 30 digits. You can always encounter names like that, and they do exist. So we have to have that type of space within the database to enter names like that. So let's get tested. So for instance, we have the first one. Let's try to create a new row and add one. Let's say, for instance, we're going to be testing right now. We're going to be testing the digit count. So let's try to enter a value more than 6. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've pressed up to 7, 8, 9, and it enters. So now let's try to save this and see what happens. So what does it give us? Give us back an error saying the specified precision allowed for this column was large, and it's larger than the value specified, which is 6. So let's try another test. Let's give it characters instead of numbers. So that's 6 characters, six letters instead. So let's try saving and see what happens. Numerical value error, character to number conversion error. So it does not like the fact that I put letters in there because letters are not allowed within this column. Also, this column cannot be nulled because it's a primary key. So if I had any information within these boxes and then I nulled it, it would remove them, and it will not let me save the page, just give me errors and such. This happens within the application page within this database. So let's try to give it a duplicate identity. Duplicate identity meaning we're going to try using this primary key and put it in this text field because we want this primary key to also represent another customer. This should not be possible because a primary key is meant to uniquely identify a row. So this entire row is uniquely identified by this primary key, and we cannot have more than one primary key we cannot have one primary key uniquely identifying more than one person. It's not possible. So let's try that and move on to the next field. What does it say? Duplicate identity. So it doesn't allow me to save that or even enter it into the field. So now let's move on to creating a new customer and testing the variable character field. So we're going to test one of the variable character fields because all of the rest of them are variable character fields. So we're going to try to input more than 30 because I know we can put numbers and letters. There won't really be any limitations to it other than the amount of digits it may have. So we're actually going to be trying the postcode because it's very hard to show 30 digits on our screen. So we're going to give it an identity. We added too many nines, probably three too many. No, one too less. So now let's give them a postcode. So the postcode is limited to 7 digits. So let's try to give them more than 7 digits and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 6, 7, and plus 8, 9, and 0, and it still shows 1, 2, 7. That means it's also being limited and it doesn't allow the user to enter more than 7 digits within that field. So it's limited within the text box, and it won't actually give you any errors, but it will limit you. So it will just stop you from being able to type any extra values. So it always shows 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there we go. We've tested extreme data. The extreme data meaning would it allow extreme levels of code to be entered within our text field. So it doesn't let that happen. It doesn't want us to add more than 9 digits, or even it doesn't want us to add more than 6, I should say, and 7 digits within the postcode field. We've tested false data, meaning we cannot enter letters within the numerical text field. So it would not take it. It will give us back an error. So that it also passed that test. We also tried duplicate data testing and null data testing. So having tested the null data testing, let's try that now. Let's try to remove that, put as 0. Let's save that and see what happens. Now let's remove it and see what happens now. And try to save it. What happens when I save it? It goes blank. So it doesn't like that. Let's refresh the page and see what happens. It puts back the information where I've had it before. It doesn't allow you to put it blank. It won't return an error, but it won't allow you to put it either. Let's save that again and see what happens. So it's blank here. We refresh it, and it comes back with the data inside. So this is another error. So it also has passed the test. So we've confirmed that the database has passed the test for extreme data testing, false data testing, same data testing, null data testing, and data type tests. These are all the tests that you should be doing within a database. Thank you.